Abubakar has picked Delta State Governor Abeokuta as his running mate. Addressing members of the Board of Trustees, BOT, at the party's headquarters on Thursday, Atiku said he consulted with all organs of the party. He also said party's unity is crucial for a good campaign. He said he wished all the recommended qualified persons to work with him.
So running mate who will help to lead us to victory next year, not only in the presidential election, but also in the governorship and legislative elections. And he will be by my side as I work hard every day to provide our people with security, revive our economy, improve education, and unite our country. Please join me in welcoming to the ticket the next Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Governor Ifeanyi Arthur Okowa.
The Delta State Governor Abeokuta also reacted.
For waiting, I must truly thank you for finding me worthy to be on this ticket. I do know that it was a very tough decision, even as you have spoken this afternoon. But I thank God that amongst my very qualified colleagues, even those more qualified than myself, that I found favor, and I'm here today as the vice presidential candidate of the party.
Leaders of the All Progressives Congress, APC in Ogun Central Senatorial District, and the Association of Local Government Chairmen Argon in Ogun State have donated 13 vehicles and 10 motorcycles to jumpstart the re-election campaign for Governor Dapo Abiodun's second term in office. While receiving the gesture at the arcade ground, Okimoso Abeokuta, Governor Abiodun said the intervention is a clear demonstration of his administration to continue to entrench good governance to the people across all strata. Governor's Office correspondent Yusuf Ganiu reports.
In preparation for the campaign for the re-election of Governor Dapo Abiodun for a second term in office in the forthcoming general elections, the Ogun Central Senatorial District presented 10 vehicles and 10 motorcycles, while the 20 chairmen of local government councils also presented 3 vehicles in support of his doggedness and pragmatic approach to governance, as well as to ensure the mandate for continuity was achieved across all levels. While reflecting on the motive behind the gesture, the state chairman of APC, Chief Yemi Shanusi, and other leaders in Ogun Central said Governor Abiodun has done so much for the area, and the need for them to reciprocate.
To campaign and secure your second term, and secure for all our candidates at the coming elections.
Initially, when it was coming, people believed that most of the abandoned projects or the projects left by the past administration will not be attended to, and he's been doing that. So we felt, well, such a thing is to be reciprocated.
We are just showing this, giving this as a token of appreciation to enhance his electionary campaign for 23 governorship election.
Dapo Abiodun has been a nice person to every one of us. He deserves more than this. We are very happy just to show the appreciation.
Speaking on behalf of the local government chairman, Honorable Emilola Gazao, who is the chairman of Ijebu, they expressed that to whom much is given, much is expected, saying various developmental projects across all local governments were attestations to the fact that the governor deserved another term in office.
This is probably the first time the council chairman will do the kind of thing that we are doing from their personal purse in Ogun State. What can we say? You have done very well. You have shown that you are a leader in the true sense of it, a pragmatic leader, a leader who is in touch with his people.
The elected Governor Abiodun thanked the donors not only for the gesture, but for supporting his administration since inception.
For the success that we're all enjoying today, there is no better way for them to show appreciation for that teamwork there's no further way for them to express a vote of confidence than this that they have demonstrated. For me, it is an affirmation that not only are we working together as partners in this Ogun project, but that they are indeed happy with what they are seeing and how we are going about the business of governance.
He also stressed that the intervention was an assurance to further remain focused and be deliberate to ensure that the trust placed on his administration was continuously justified.
One thing I can assure you of is that I see this as a further inspiration to continue to remain very focused and to continue to remain very deliberate. We will not rest on our oars. Like they say, the reward for success is more hard work.
Governor Abeokuta and his deputy, Engineer Noimot Salakoyedele, among others, later inspected the branded vehicles and motorcycles. Yusuf Ganiyu, Ogtv News.
President Muhammadu Buhari Thursday in Kano said his administration has made impact on security, economy and corruption. Buhari said the three priorities of the present administration, security, economy and corruption, received significant attention with measurable results following his vision of making Nigeria more peaceful, prosperous and reliable among nations. At the passing out parade of the regular course for 2016 cadets of the Nigeria Police Academy, the president noted that policies and actions of the government made impact on the tripod vision despite challenges, assuring that more will still be done to safeguard lives and property, enhance livelihood, and ensure probity. Meanwhile, the federal government has assured stakeholders that it will continue to provide the necessary budgetary allocations for the Nigerian police force in order to enhance the welfare of personnel across the country. The Executive Secretary, National Human Rights Commission, Tony Ojukwu, said this while speaking to journalists in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, during a two-day training of police personnel in the South region. The training has as the theme, mainstreaming human rights into law enforcement in Nigeria, and it is supported by the MacArthur Foundation. Ojukwu, who was represented by the Commission's Director, Civil and Political Rights, Abdurraham Yakubu, said the training was to ensure that policemen respect the rights of members of the public while carrying out their duties. And long queues are gradually returning to filling stations across Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, as car owners and motorists lament another fuel crisis. Our news crew, who went round to observe the situation, also reports that the hike in prices of diesel is biting hard on the economy. Matthew Shomi completes the report.
Just as the people are still trying to cope with the hike in the prices of diesel and its attendant effect on the cost of goods and other items, long queues are gradually returning to fuel stations. Our news crew went around some fuel stations in the capital city of Ogun State, Abeokuta, and observed that many of the stations are not selling the products, while the few ones selling are experiencing long queues. Though the prices remain the same at the fuel stations selling the products, some of the motorists lamented the sudden return of queues and hardship being faced in getting the essential commodity.
Yeah, well, actually when I came into town this morning, I was surprised when I saw the queue here and there. It's something that baffles me. I can't really picture or determine what really is the problem. That we're having scarcity at this point in time. There's no news from the government or anything. We have already entered this kind of situation before, but I don't know what is going on. Because I don't know. When I went out this morning, there's queue everywhere. So our government should do something about this issue.
The hike in the price of diesel has been negatively impacting businesses, factories, and organizations who rely on the product for production.
Government, and when I say government, they have 12 hours of electricity. Can have this electricity, say 12 hours. At least it will redeem on to be able to at least clear picture of what we are doing.
As the people wait endlessly for solutions to the problem, they can only appeal that something should be done urgently by government and other stakeholders to improve power situation to reduce heavy reliance on diesel. Matthew Shomi, Ogtv News.
Over 2,200 youths are being empowered by the Ogun State Agricultural and Multipurpose Credit Agency, OSAMCA, in line with the mandate of the current administration to empower youths with cutting-edge technical vocational skills as a means of tackling poverty and unemployment. Chairman of OSAMCA, Abeokuta, revealed this in an interview with our reporter Adebola Oshomoje on the ongoing training program in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital. Her reports.
No doubt, skill acquisition remains the most viable and sustainable means of combating unemployment and poverty in any society. In Nigeria, the unemployment rate measuring the number of people actively looking for a job is high. To tackle this menace, the Ogun State Agricultural and Multipurpose Credit Agency, OSAMCA, empowered over 2,200 youths in Abeokuta who are desirous of upgrading their skills or learning a new trade.
What teachers actually do is to help review to you.
The objective of this initiative, according to the State Commissioner for Industry, Trade and Investment, Mrs. Kikelomo Lunge, is to ensure that many youths are equipped with skills for entrepreneurship in order to avert the attendant effects of poverty and unemployment that have manifested in the form of violence.
The key to a successful business is very simple. And one of them is what you're learning here. You have to even know the business.
While congratulating the beneficiaries for being counted among the lucky ones, the chairman of SAMCA in an interview charged them to take full advantage of the opportunity provided by the interventions of the state government and make meaningful contributions to the state economy.
We are going to empower them to the tune of 300,000 naira per participants, depending on what you are doing, so that to be paid back, I will say, within a period of 6 months. So, for any successful participant or candidate,
he also urged youth to locate their areas of interest and harness it in the course of the program. Participants promised maximum concentrations in order to utilize the opportunity bestowed on them.
Yesterday we made some foldings and we were able to dye them, and you know the knowledge is there and one is happy that okay, at least I'm engaging myself really well.
I thank the government of Ogun State for bringing this and for helping us, especially the students. This strike has been really, really long and we've been learning a lot.
My second day in these skills and I've learned a lot. This Zara cap I'm wearing, it's actually what I've learned. I've even learned how to make slippers and so many more I'm still going to learn.
This set of youths are fully prepared to be self-employed and become relevant in the society. Adebola Oshomoji, Ogtv News.
Still to come on the news, World Health Organization WHO issues advisory on monkeypox vaccines. Join us for details of this and more shortly. Thank you for still being there. If you're just joining us, you're watching the comprehensive news package for the day on Ogtv, Abeokuta. As part of efforts to ensure the well-being of residents, the Ogun State government, in partnership with the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, is set to begin the measles and yellow fever vaccination exercise across the 20 local government areas of the state, with a flag-off ceremony by the wife of the Ogun State governor, Mrs. Bamidele Abiodun, on Friday, 17th June 2022, at the African Church Primary School, Ayetoro Yewa, at 9 in the morning. According to a statement by the Commissioner for Health, Dr. Tomi Koka, the exercise, which will begin on Friday 17th June to Friday 8th July 2022 in all the local government areas of the state, is aimed at protecting children and adults, as well as reducing morbidity and mortality resulting from measles and yellow fever diseases amongst the residents in the state. The statement also indicated that this exercise will involve the use of government fixed posts such as primary health care centers, state hospitals, and other designated temporary fixed posts such as religious worship centers, marketplaces, leisure parks, and motor parks for the administration of the measles vaccine to children 9 to 59 months and yellow fever vaccine to all eligible residents 9 months to 44 years free of charge. Residents are enjoined to make themselves, their children, and wards available by visiting the nearest public health facilities closest to them, as well as inform others to avail themselves the opportunity of the exercise to be vaccinated and be protected against the diseases. Ogun State government has issued a warning to private veterinary practitioners, veterinary pharmaceutical outlets, slaughter slabs, cattle markets, livestock markets, live bird markets, among others, operating without appropriate approvals and licensing by the Department of Veterinary Services of the Ogun State Ministry of Agriculture to desist forthwith or face the wrath of the law in accordance with the Animal Disease Control Act of 2022. Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture, Dr. Dotun Shoronke, in a statement, implored operators of such facilities to register with the Department of Veterinary Services and obtain appropriate license for their operations within 14 days of face closure of their facilities. Dr. Shoronke added that the directive also affects those selling fake animal drugs, operators of dirty and unhygienic slaughter slabs, and sellers of uncertified meat to members of the public. Nigeria is experiencing a consistent rise in number of fresh coronavirus infections as the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, announced that it recorded 240 infections between June 8 and 15, 2022. The latest update by the NCDC on Thursday shows that 63 new infections were recorded on Tuesday and Wednesday in 2 states and the Federal Capital Territory, FCT. The center added that the infection toll increased to 256,467, while the fatality toll now stands at 3,144. It also noted on its website that 3,123 people are currently down with the illness, while 250,154 people have been treated and discharged nationwide since the outbreak more than 2 years ago. The breakdown of the cases show that Lagos State, the epicenter of the disease, accounts for over 50% of the recent surge in cases. On health matters still, World Health Organization, WHO, has released an interim guidance regarding first recommendations on use of vaccines for monkeypox. In a statement titled Vaccines and Immunization for Monkeypox Interim Guidelines, the agency said the goal of the global response was to check the outbreak and effectively deploy public health measures to prevent further spread, noting that judicious application of vaccines could aid response. WHO said the control of monkeypox outbreaks primarily relies on public health measures, including surveillance, contact tracing, isolation, and care of patients. The United Nations Health Agency acknowledged that many years of research led to development of newer and safer second and third generation vaccines for smallpox, and some of which might be useful for monkeypox, and one of which, MVA-BN, have been approved for prevention of the virus. The interim guidance from May 13 to June 9, 2022 noted that monkeypox had been reported to the WHO from over 30 member states that had not reported the disease. Learners in the state have been advised to shun all forms of malpractices in the ongoing basic education certificate examination, but embrace diligence and hard work in order to record good success. The Commissioner of Education, Science and Technology, Professor Abeokuta, gave the advice during the basic monitoring exercise to Ijebu and Remo axis of the state. Professor Arigbabu encouraged the students to rely on their abilities instead of trying to pass through untoward means. He stressed that success met with adequate preparedness will yield good results.
This examination is like stepping stone into other things of life. You need to work hard, read very well, so that you make it just once like that, and then you can go to the university or polytechnic or maybe any other higher institution you want to do. And whatever course you want, by now you should know the subjects that you need to focus on so that you achieve whatever you have set for yourself. So I wouldn't want to waste your time. I want to wish you the best of luck in this exam, and then best of luck in your future endeavors.
The Commissioner assured that there are sufficient materials put in place for the smooth conduct of the examination. Schools visited include Anglican Girls Grammar School, public and private, Ijebu Grammar School, Muslim Comprehensive High School, Osasa Comprehensive High School, all in the Ijebu axis. Also, in the Remo axis, the Commissioner visited Shoido Comprehensive High School, Shagamu High School, and Mako High School, Shagamu. The Senate has set machinery in motion for the establishment of the Federal University of Education Technical in Bichi, Kano State. In paving way for the establishment of the federal institution, the Red Chamber passed for second reading a bill sponsored to that effect by the All Progressive Senator representing Kano North, Jibrin Barau. Barau, in his lead debate for passage of the bill, said there was a need to have a strong system in the educational sector with the establishment of more institutions for the training of teachers. All the senators who contributed to the debate on the bill supported it and gave it overwhelming passage for the second reading when put to voice votes by the Senate President Hamid Lawan. It was sent to the Senate Committee on Tertiary Education and TET Fund for more legislative input. Minister of Education Adamu had earlier said that the federal government will continue to accord priority to technical education. The rate at which Nigerian students relocate abroad to study is continually being on the increase. Every year, a significant number of students migrate abroad for education despite the huge cost of financing such a move. In this special report, Sheyi Alao met with experts to discuss the reasons behind the move and the implications on the Nigerian educational sector.
The number of Nigerian students moving abroad is on the rise, and the situation calls for attention. The United Kingdom, United States of America, Canada, and Ghana are usually the most sought after destinations for the Nigerian students. However, the high flow of the students studying abroad has been attributed to the unstable academic calendar and the state of education in the country.
When they said Nigeria, not Nigeria government, individuals that send their children to the children abroad, and if you have something very at your doorstep that you can use, there will be no need for you to go to the market for it. Abi? Yeah, because our educational system, the way it is, that is what is prompting people to go abroad to study.
With the trend of things, it's as if Nigeria will very soon start importing administrators. What do I mean? ASU is on strike. ASUP just called off their warning strike. And our educational system is in shambles now. Now we have many of our young guys going out there to acquire knowledge, to acquire degrees, and come back home. Now, can you tell me if they will be able to handle our own challenges, our peculiar challenges, with the foreign training they have acquired?
According to research, since 2014, about 75,000 Nigerians moved to the United States, paying about $1 billion annually as tuition fee and upkeep, as against the annual budget of $751 million for all federal universities. In addition, Ghana gets about 160 billion naira of Nigerian student funds, while over 80 billion naira has been spent on education in the United Kingdom.
Portends big problem for the country, in the sense that first, the capital flight, that the money that we take to these foreign countries to study would have stayed in our own economy. Now ASU is on strike, demanding for how much? If that money that has been spent on acquiring foreign certificates were to be spent here in Nigeria, I don't think ASU will have any cause to go on strike.
It is very, very unfortunate that so much is being wasted, is being spent outside, and of course it's not in our interest, because we are using it to develop already developed economy.
Experts says this trend in the long run will be of a great detriment to the country, as it will pave way for a massive brain drain if the government fail to act fast.
The crave for foreign education is because of the fact that the teaching facilities are there. The environment is stimulated to learning. But what do you find in our institution here? Most of the infrastructure facilities are updated.
Let us make our educational system work. Then such will be discouraged.
Education is the bedrock of development of any nation, and for Nigeria to restore its lost glory in this sector, something must be done to correct not just the student flights, but also the capital flight involved. Sheyi Alao, Ogtv News.
JESA Future Foundation, in collaboration with Badlin Leaders Empowerment Initiative, joined the rest of the world to celebrate the annual African Child Day. The theme for this year's celebration, eliminating harmful practices affecting children, the non-governmental organization sensitized pupils of NUD Primary School Bodiolude in Abeokuta, Lagos State Capital. Margaret Okunola was there.
Every 16th of June, the world's second largest and second most populous continent, Africa, pays tribute to those who lent their hands in the Soweto uprising. The day is International Day of the African Child, which focuses on the obstacles African child face receiving quality education. JESA Future Foundation, in collaboration with Budding Leaders Empowerment Initiative and other child rights activists, marked the day by sensitizing pupils of NUD Primary School, Bodiolude, a school in Odeda local government area of Ogun State, on their rights as children. Being a collaborative initiative, the conveners said the celebration is a form of effort to make known the African child's rights, while calling on parents to prioritize their wards and help eliminate all harmful practices affecting children.
The children doesn't know what is good for what is right. That is why we call them children. They have the right, but this child, that is why we are there to correct them. We checkmate them. The freedom these children have is not automatic. They still have to be corrected. They still have to be monitored. They still have to be cautioned.
We're saying to the parents, these children came not because they willed to come, but you brought them to life. So if every parent stands up and takes up their responsibility, then the child is secure. Then the child has a good pathway, a good roadmap to becoming who God has destined him or her to be.
The children, beaming with gladness as they were just opened to a new phase of knowledge, were grateful.
About the strengths and what they are doing, I feel good today. They tell us that all children have the same rights.
I just want to say that all African children have the right. We have the legal rights.
We have the right to education, healthcare. I feel great. I'm happy to be here today.
The teachers appreciated the conveners for picking the school for such an educative initiative. Margaret Okunlola, Ogtv News.
The Minister of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola, said that there is no shortage of passport booklets in the country. According to him, with the supplies of booklets available with the Nigerian Immigration Service, there can never be shortage of booklets. He said what the country was contending with was human challenges. Aregbesola spoke during the decoration of the Acting Controller General of the Nigerian Immigration Service, Idris Jere, in Abuja, explaining why some applicants get long appointment dates. He said this was as a result of the volume of applicants in that area. The minister also disclosed that the President Muhammadu Buhari administration was unhappy with the cumbersome nature of getting the Nigerian passports abroad, as well as applying for visa on arrival. House of Representatives urged the federal government to declare a state of emergency in the various forest reserves in Owo-She Federal Constituency, Ondo State, in order to comb and fish out criminals perpetrating crimes. The House condemned in strong terms the recent killings of worshippers in a Catholic church in Ondo State by gunmen, mandating the police authorities not to stop at just fishing out the perpetrators, but to also prosecute them so that at the end justice may be served. The lawmakers said it was high time they discussed the issue of the state police in order to include it in the Constitution. They directed the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to alleviate the suffering of the family members of those that lost their lives by supplying them with essential relief materials. The Chief of Defense Staff, General Lucky Rabo, has advised those vying for elective offices in the 2023 general elections to desist from instigating violence, as the military will do everything possible to ensure a peaceful exercise. General Irabo said this at the maiden visit to the bi-weekly news briefing on military operations. It was the first time the Chief of Defense Staff will be using the platform of the Defense Media Operations to brief journalists. The objective was to provide updates on the operation of troops, especially as the country counts down to the general elections in 2023.
We will not in any way stand aside and see those who perpetrate violence all because they are looking for political offices. And we're working very closely with the police and we stand ready to give them all the support that is necessary.
Beyond elections, the prevailing security threat is of great concern.
Every form of incident that will lead to violence and bloodshed to be prevented.
In tackling the evolving security threats, General Rabo advocated an exclusive approach. The absence of a judge of the Federal Capital Territory High Court on Thursday stalled the trial of Peter Nwachukwu, husband of the late gospel singer Osinachi. Justice Jedika Wosu Iheme had on June 3 ordered that Nwachukwu be remanded in Kuje Correctional Center and fixed Thursday and Friday for hearing after he pleaded not guilty to the alleged homicide charge filed against him by the Attorney General of the Federation. He was therefore remanded pending the hearing and determination of the 23-count charge bordering on domestic violence and homicide instituted against him. Although the defendant was in court, the judge, however, was absent for Thursday's proceeding, and the court officials said they could not divulge the reason for her absence. They, in addition, stated that the court had fixed June 20 and 21 for hearing. Nwachukwu was arrested by the Nigerian police after his wife died on April 8, following widespread allegations by their children, family, and colleagues that he battered her, leading to her death. According to the charge, the crime he allegedly committed contravenes Sections 104 and 379 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, ACJA 2015, Section 221 of the Penal Code, and the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Acts, VAPP 2015. The statement of offense bordered on emotional, verbal, and psychological abuse contrary to Section 14(1) of the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act 2015 and punishable under the same section of the Act. Still to come on the news, we'll bring you some business report with Simiat Abaru.
You're welcome to the business segment of the news. The European Commission has released an industry code of practice for tackling online disinformation across the EU. The latest code, however, came as a reinforcement to the first code of practice of 2018, which has been widely acknowledged as a pioneering framework globally. This is a decision emanated days after Nigeria's National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, released its code of practice for online platforms operating in the country. While Nigeria's code is still a draft and currently undergoing public review, the EU 2022 Code of Practice on Disinformation has been signed by 34 tech giants operating in Europe, including Google, Meta, TikTok, and Microsoft. The EU Commission says the new code sets out extensive and precise commitment by platforms and industry to fight disinformation and marks another important step toward a more transparent, safe, and trustworthy online environment. Meanwhile, Nigeria's telecommunications subscribers consumed 350 terabytes of data in 2021. This was disclosed by the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, in its 2021 Subscriber Network Data Annual Report released on Thursday. The report shows that the amount of data being used by an average Nigerian increased last year. According to the data, the 2021 figure was a 68% increase compared with the 209.9 terabytes consumed in 2020. In spite of an 8% decrease in internet subscriptions in the year, affected by the directive from NCC in December 2020 to all GSM operators to suspend the sale and registration of new SIMs, SIM swaps, and all porting activities, subscriptions for internet decreased by 154.3 million as of December 2020 to 141.9 million as of December 2021. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, has stated that improving trade balance is having a limited impact on foreign exchange strains, with the exchange rate premiums in the parallel market staying in the 35 to 40% range since October 2021. This was disclosed in the IMF staff meetings with the Nigerian authorities to discuss recent economic and financial development and the economic outlook for the country. The exchange rate between the Naira and the US dollar closed on Wednesday at $420 20 Naira per dollar at the investors and exporters window. However, the black market maintains a wide premium to close at 607 Naira to a dollar, according to information from BDC operators. The IMF stated that also real GDP growth is broadening to all sectors except oil, but inflation remains elevated. The international lenders added that the economic outlook is challenging, with high food prices raising food security concerns. And finally tonight, the total supply of stable coins saw its sharpest drop in history during the second quarter of 2022, which, according to data analytics firm Coinmetrics, is attributable to the coin stable redemption spiking as a result of short-term liquidity and concerns about insolvency that were not present during the panic of 2020. Coinmetrics head of research and development, Lucas Nuzi, highlighted the data on Twitter earlier today with a graph showing the total supply of stable coins since January 2020. The graph he posted contained the list of stable coins in consideration, which included DAI, USDT, SAI, USDK, and PAX. Circle's USDC and Binance BUSD were compiled in a separate graph. Terra's original variant of UST was not included in the graph. And that's the end of the business segment of the news. Thank you so much for watching.